In a couple of our previous videos, we used the union all function inside of a common table expression to generate some practice data. I'd like to give some better demonstrations of union all now, along with its companion function, union. The basic function of union all and union is to combine the results of two or more select statements. The difference between them is that one function removes duplicate values, while the other keeps the duplicate values. Let's write a new query to demonstrate. Our task is to return a list of all customers named Susan and all actresses named Susan, and they must be in the same list. So we'll start by writing a basic select query. We will say select customer.lastname, customer.firstname from customer where customer.firstname equals Susan. Now let's go down and let's say select actor.lastname and actor.firstname from the actor table where actor.firstname equals Susan. And you may recall from one of our earlier videos that we actually have two actresses named Susan Davis. If we query our customer table, we see we have one customer named Susan Wilson. Now remember that our goal here is to return a list of both of these sets of data combined. So what we can do is, between these two queries, write in union all and then run the combined query. And you can see that we get Susan Wilson and our two Susan Davises inside the same list. This is the basic function of a union all. It just stacks the results of your two queries on top of each other. Now, what happens if we remove the keyword all from this query and run it again? All of a sudden, we are down to two results. And this is the difference between union and union all. Union will actually remove the duplicates from the two sets, whereas union all will keep the duplicates. There are some important rules to keep in mind when you're working with union and union all. First of all, every select statement within union must have the same number of columns. For instance, if we go up to our first select statement and add a new column at the beginning, where we just insert the word customer as type, and then run the query again, we will get an error saying each union query must have the same number of columns. To fix this, we can go down to our second select statement and then add a similar column here saying actor as type. Then run the query again, and we get actor Susan Davis and customer Susan Wilson. The next rule to keep in mind is that the columns must also have similar data types. If I go back to my first select and say 1 as number, and then I go down to my second select and say G as text, and then I try to run the select again, I'll get an error saying invalid input syntax for type integer. Because I'm trying to insert the letter G into a column that has been typed as a number up above, where you can see the number 1, the union operation fails. The next rule to keep in mind with union and union all is that if you specify an order by clause, you must do it after you have defined every select statement. To demonstrate, let's actually add another union all to our query. We're going to copy our second union all and then paste it below itself, and we'll change our actor's first name on the third union statement to Tom. So this will return the customer named Susan, the actresses named Susan, and the actors named Tom. Now if we want to specify an order by, if we try to do it on our first select statement and say order by last name, and then run the query, we will get an error. A syntax error at or near union because we have tried to specify an order by before we have actually combined all of our sets together. And this actually goes back to the discussion of the logical processing order of SQL operations. The union and union all operators are actually processed by the SQL database prior to the order by clause. It wants to combine all of the sets together, and then once the sets are together, you can use an order by to organize the combined sets. So if we take our order by and then drop it below the third select statement and then run it, we will get a sorted query the way we intended. The final rule to keep in mind with union and union all has to do with aliasing our columns. If you want to alias a column in a combined union all statement, you must do it in your first select statement. To demonstrate, I'm going to take our as-type aliases and remove them from the first and third select statements, and then I'm going to run the query again. When I do this, our type column is suddenly named column in between question marks. Now, if I want to fix this, I can take our as-type alias and I can just apply it back to the first select statement. If I run the query again, we see that our column is named type once more. You only have to alias once in the first select statement. You do not have to repeat the alias in every single subsequent select statement.